Hey there folks, welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. I'm glad you could join us because in today's episode, I'm going to show you how to cook like a Mexican as we prepare carnitas. Carnitas is Mexico's version of pulled pork, but really elevated to a completely different level. It's a very easy recipe to follow and a great place to start if you want to learn how to cook like a Mexican. So let's make carnitas, shall we?
The meat we're going to be working with for this dish is pork shoulder, also known as Boston butt. Boston butt's got a lot of incredible marbling, interconnective fat that's going to break down beautifully as we cook these carnitas. And I'm going to end up using about 10 pounds of pork shoulder. To process our meat for this dish, we're just going to simply cut it up into medium-sized chunks. You're going to see that as this cooks, it's going to get remarkably tender, and these chunks are just going to fall apart. The smaller you cut your pieces, the faster it's going to cook, but personally, I find that medium chunks works well. Our meat is now processed, and it's now time to add our spices. So for this step, I like to just add salt. Very simple. Now you can certainly add whatever spices you want, but for me, I like to add salt, and I would recommend you do the same. I'm adding roughly about a teaspoon of salt per pound of meat. If you are going to add additional spices, I would do it once it's finished cooking. Now that we've got the salt added, we're going to give it a mix. Just make sure that it's all well incorporated. And we're going to place this into the refrigerator for just a couple hours. That's going to help that salt penetrate the meat, and it's going to give it a really nice flavor. And after a couple hours is up, we're going to begin the process of cooking. I like to cook my carnitas in a slow cooker. It's very forgiving and incredibly easy. And we're going to start by adding roughly about 4 cups of lard to this cooker, and we're going to turn the heat on high. In essence, our pork shoulder is going to cook confit, which means we're going to slow cook it in that lard. It's going to give it amazing flavor. As our pork shoulder slowly cooks and that interconnective fat starts to break down, it's going to remain succulent, tender. It's going to be incredible. So let's go ahead and add all of that pork meat to our lard. And remember, we've got this on high. And I want to make sure that the lard completely covers all that pork meat. So I'm just going to add another half a cup of lard or so to the slow cooker, and we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and close it down and let the cooking begin. We're going to cook this for anywhere between 4 to 6 hours. What we're looking for here is meat that is fall apart tender. You should easily be able to break it apart with a fork. And so as soon as we hit that target, our carnitas are finished. I do have this set, like I said earlier, on high, and it's been about 6 hours since this has started cooking. And check that out. Everything's under the lard. It smells incredible. Very, very porky, which is what we're looking for. And if you can notice how tender this is with the fork, I mean, it just falls right apart. Incredible. So at this stage, we're just going to remove all that pork, set it into a bowl, and technically it's finished. It's very tender, very succulent, and trust me when I tell you, incredibly delicious. But if you want that real carnitas experience, we're going to do one more thing to the meat, which is really going to elevate that flavor, and that's to very quickly pan fry it. So I'm going to take some of that rendered lard, heat it up in a cast iron skillet. It's blazing hot, and we're going to add some of that cooked pork shoulder. This step is all about browning and giving it a little bit of color. We don't want to cook it too long. And as you can see right here, very quickly, my reaction is starting to happen, and it is browning beautifully. With a spatula, I'm going to break up that meat. And after only about 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, it's time to remove this meat because our Mexican pork carnitas are officially finished. The smell in our kitchen right now actually reminds me of my abuelita's house in Monterrey, Mexico. And look at that. We've got crispy pieces. We've got tender, juicy pieces all over the place. It looks incredible. And I think it's time to give this a taste. Let's go simple. Carnitas taco. Let's start with a corn tortilla loaded up with our Mexican carnitas. I've got a delicious salsa verde that we just made, and you're going to have to stick around if you want the recipe to this incredible salsa. We're going to add some culantro, which is a very close cousin to cilantro, and we're going to give this a squeeze of lime, and that is it. This taco is ready. Let's give it a go.
All right, folks, this looks absolutely delicious, jam-packed full of that succulent, tender pork shoulder. Let's just give it a taste. Wow. Let me take another bite. Riquísimo. This is delicious, very authentic, and very simple to make. You can add whatever spices you want. I like salt and pork. You really get that porky element, and frying it at the very end gives you that really nice, elevated carnitas experience. Once you've made this dish, you can put it in a taco, like I'm doing here. Put it on a tostada. You can virtually add it to whatever you want, and it's going to be incredible. Carnitas freezes well. So you could put this in a vacuum seal bag, portioned out so you can have Mexican carnitas whenever you want. If you like this video or got something out of it, be sure to click that thumbs up button. And if you're new here and you'd like to learn how to cook like a Mexican, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, because in our next episode, I'm going to show you how to make authentic Mexican tamales using our very own carnitas. See you then. Bye-bye.